name's Max Salmon. I'm the producer of Sea Immersive. This is the virtual reality section of the Red Sea Film Festival, and it's curated by Liz Rosenthal. And Liz Rosenthal and I worked together previously at this year's Venice Festival for the first time.
And the year before, no? I mean, she's been programming Venice
Yes.
a few times before.
That's right. She's been running that program for 5 years now.
Oh, yeah.
So Venice was one of the first of the major film festivals to run a VR section.
True, yeah. So now we're here in Jeddah, and tell us what you're offering our audience here, the audience.
Yeah, so we have a selection of 21 VR titles. It's a selection of Liz's favourite VR titles, and I think we've got a really strong selection. So we've got everything from games to virtual worlds and narrative content. I've been working in VR since back in sort of 2014,
Wow.
so it's really exciting to see how the medium has evolved. Back in those days, we used to call everything a demo, and everything was sort of 2 minutes long, and it was all made by geeky tech boys, basically. So it's wonderful now to see a really strong selection of great stories with great casts and screenwriters, lots of women directors, and the thing that I really love is the fact that there's true art to what's happening now. It's not all just zombie shooters and the things that quite often get associated with the VR scene.
And where do you see it going in terms of the market, in terms of business, in terms of a return on investment, or what is the future? Is it like virtual tourism, or I don't know?
Well, the thing to remember about VR is that it's a medium. So, there are 100 different ways that the VR can be used. It's not just about films, it's not just about games. So we're going to see VR appearing in everyday life. There are dentists that are using VR to help people forget about the pain they're going through as they're having their teeth ripped from their face. You have people doing training in VR. So I think what's going to happen is you're just going to see it permeate your life in many different ways. But the real game changer has been the Oculus Quest.
Yeah.
Much as people are not necessarily the happiest with Facebook being people to rule this market at the moment, I don't know where we would be if it wasn't for the amount of money that they've invested in this space, and the fact that they've been able to release headsets that common people are happy to buy. Rather than it used to be you needed £1,000 worth of gaming computer in order to run your Oculus Rift or your Vive, and it was always going to be a very niche product. Whereas now it's an impulse price point. It's the sort of thing that people pick up for Christmas and start to experiment with. And it's that spirit of experimentation which is what's going to drive this medium forwards. And now that there's a market there, and we're actually seeing millions of headsets in the market rather than hundreds of thousands, people can actually start to make a return on investment. There is a home entertainment market. There are a lot of I believe that a lot of titles end up being made for and disappearing after the film festival circuit. And I think that the more and more we see these headsets appearing in people's homes, the more and more we're going to start to see a market for narrative content outside of that film festival circuit.
Extending their life. What do you see? I see a slight problem with our brain and the capacity to absorb these things, but the dizziness it can create for some people, not all, after watching too long. Are we making progress there, or?
So,
can you explain actually why this happens? Why we get dizzy?
So there is an ancient part of the brain which when you perceive movement but your body doesn't feel it, it thinks you're sick. It thinks that maybe you've eaten something wrong and it tries to get you to sick it out. And so VR does not intrinsically make you dizzy or make you feel sick. bad VR does. So people, and we've learned as an industry a lot about what you can do and what you can't do, you know, and so there are lots of techniques that you can use to reduce the dizziness that people feel.
Yeah.
But on top of that, also you get used to it. So you have a thing called VR legs, you know, and after you've been doing VR for a little while, your brain adapts to it, and you start, and it's much less difficult to do.
Yeah.
You know, I can be in a headset anywhere up to 6 hours.
Really?
And yeah. With some of the events that we run in VRChat, in that social VR platform, that we sometimes stay in there all night. You know,
Nice.
we run parties and events, and so.
Maybe my last question is if you can tell us about VRChat, the platform, and how it works, and
Yeah, so that's probably the thing that I find most exciting about VR at the moment. So VRChat is a social VR platform, and there are a number of festivals like Rain Dance and Venice, and now Red Sea Immersive, that are
Rain Dance, really?
Yeah,
Not
absolutely.
Sundance. No?
Rain Dance in London.
Oh, yeah.
Were one of the pioneers of bringing of doing work in VRChat. So
Really?
during the pandemic, both Venice and Rain Dance, essentially the entire festival was done inside this social VR platform.
All right.
And so the way that works, you put a headset on, you have an avatar, and then you have a group of people all come together in a virtual space. So we have 8 virtual worlds as part of the selection. So they're sitting alongside all of the documentaries and the games and everything else in the selection. And the great thing about VRChat is that anyone can make content for it and make it massively multiplayer. So if you are able to watch a YouTube tutorial on how to use Unity, you can have like an annoyingly young child, probably 18 years old, talk you through how to very simply make a piece of content. You use the SDK, press a button, and it's live in VRChat. It's multiplayer, and anyone can visit it. So it cuts down how difficult it is to make these social worlds, and anyone can do it. My 7-year-old son is making VR content in a drawing app called Tiltbrush. We put it into Unity, we put it up into VRChat, and then we run around inside it together. So
What's his name?
his name's Max Salmon.
Hey, good job, Max.
But it's a very exciting time, because it means that anyone can be a creator. And what that then means is that we're not constrained by the amount of budget that it usually requires to create a piece of VR. Normally, with majority of the titles that you see around here, you have huge teams of people working on them, and they usually cost, you know, hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars to make. Most of the worlds in VRChat are made by people in their bedroom, like you know, after their shift at work.
Yeah.
Which means you have an incredibly diverse range of content. You have a deaf community in there that are teaching people sign language. You have dance classes. You have you have people doing plays and drama. And you even have people like me who enjoy going to raves and nightclubs in there.
Dancing. I mean, you can learn how to dance with the...
Yes, so using Vive trackers, you can put a tracker on each foot and one on your pelvis, and you can have full body tracking.
Oh, really?
So there's even a breakdancing community in there.
Oh,
you
God.
see people flipping and spinning, and it's
Funny.
really quite incredible.
And finally, what's your experience here in Jeddah and the Red Sea International Film Festival?
It's been incredible. It's the thing that I've found most interesting. When people talk about Saudi Arabia, generally there is a certain narrative that you hear on the news, and it's usually scary politics, and the, the sort of the dark side of the political system here. But the thing that the thing that you find out when you're speaking to people is that these guys are in the middle of a cultural revolution.
Exactly.
You know, these people have found a freedom over the last couple of years that they've never had before, and there is an energy and an excitement in this space that I don't think I've ever seen before. Yeah. So I actually feel quite privileged to be here at this time, because it's a very, very defining time in their culture, and I'm having a really wonderful time.
It's a discovery time, indeed. Yeah,
Absolutely.
They didn't have cinema for long, and probably same in VR.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Cinema's only been available since 2018. The venue that we're in, Hayy Jameel, this is the first large-scale art centre that the territory has seen. There's all these amazing firsts that are happening, and people are so hungry for great content. So it's a very interesting time.
And we're happy too, as guests. We're very privileged to witness that and to enjoy all this great hospitality and
Absolutely.
great content. So thanks a lot, and
thank you for watching filmfestivals.com.
filmfestivals.com.
It's Immersive.